Declare the meeting open. With acknowledgement of country, we would like to acknowledge that we're on the land of the Nadjarine people, the traditional custodians of the lands and waters of the Light Regional Council area. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging, and extend respect to other Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders who may be present today. Attendance. Got a full attendance apart from Councillor Dean, who has an apology. He's unwell today, just come down with something today. Let's wish him well. Nil apologies. Oh, Miss Dean's an apology. Nil leave of absence, no non-attendance. Confirmation of the council minutes of the 27th of January 2026. It's a recommendation there that the minutes be received. Be confirms a true and correct record at the meeting. Someone like to move that way? Councillor Martin, seconded. Councillor Collin, all in favour? It's carried. Thank you. Communications. You there? I went to the talk that the Premier gave last week, and it's been reported quite widely, but widely. But they're pushing to get 13,500 houses built annually in South Australia, and he's very keen on this side. We're going to be pressured to supply those houses, no matter what we think. We're going to have that pressure on us, so we have to be pretty prepared to say what we want if that happens. So say how we want those developments to get. We've got to make an input, whether it affects anything or not. We need to say something, because he's going to be pressing really hard to get that done, and they're putting more money into water and water supply and all that sort of stuff, and that's a big impetus. He's really focused on that. So that was his big message from that talk he gave. We have nil petitions and nil deputations and presentations, and nil adjourned business, and we go to action items in the ordinary agenda. So we'll run through them as we normally do by pages. So we have page 5. I think Mark's got a comment to make on that.
We did at the request of the DIT Minister, Emily Burke. We met with her last week, Wednesday, I think it was.
Yep.
Thank you. With the Mayor and Megan to obviously further discuss Clare Road, and we had a very positive reception. It was her and Tony Piccolo and one of her staff. So I think it was a positive hearing, outlined very clearly. So we had about 45-50 minutes with her, almost an hour, something like that. So a very worthwhile discussion, and it was followed up almost immediately back to Megan from DIT. So obviously she was working the phones that afternoon as well. And we had a telephone conversation, I think, the next morning with 2IC of the, that's the acronym, isn't it? The second in charge of Department of Infrastructure and Transport. I'll say it in full. And that was a positive again. So we're moving ahead with this, and Megan's got that under control. So it was positive. Of course, it's pre-election. Let's see how it goes post-election. Not that I'm a cynic. So, but very good meeting.
Yeah, it was very positive, wasn't it? Yeah. Page 6. Page 7.
Yes.
Councillor Peter.
The Anglevale Bridge, I've previously mentioned that, well, there were estimates of enormous expenditure required, and I suggested building an outrigger along the side of the existing road bridge for pedestrians, and I noticed that a report is going to be provided in March 2026. So I'll wait and see.
Thanks, councillor Peter. Yeah, I think Playford aren't very keen to spend any money on it, actually, so we may be waiting, won't we, Megan? So we'll do our best because it does need some pedestrian and bike access across that bridge. Is quite dangerous. Page 8. Councillor Michael.
Sorry, Mayor Bill, mine, it's just previous. I'm just curious, the Northern Growth Areas collaboration, I don't need lots of detail, but is that still happening, or that's the thing that Tony Piccolo set up? I think I went to the first one.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. That goes back to my very first day here. So that's about 5 months ago. We had that meeting with Tony Piccolo and I think all of the CEOs from those councils, Barossa, Playford, Adelaide, Adelaide Plains and here met. Not much has progressed since then, to be honest. And Tony was trying to look at some potential seed funding to get this moving because it doesn't need to get, everybody's busy, as we all understand. To get that moving, we actually do need some resourcing behind it. But we're all facing the same issues. It's pretty silly all going alone, to be honest. So there's some strength in working collaboratively.
Page 8. Page 9. Comment about the Greenock Centenary Park.
Yes, thank you. Had a very positive meeting with Virginia Armstrong, who's the chair of the committee, last week with Mayor Bill and Colin, and it's we're very positively received, and they will now come back to council. They had some ideas about what they would like to do in terms of naming a pavilion. So that's now gone back to them to do some fine tuning on that and to come back to council. So that one will be wound up when that comes back to us. And they are looking at a potential unveiling of that plaque in October, which I think she mentioned, Virginia mentioned this, the 90th or the 60th anniversary. I can't remember which it was, but it was a significant anniversary of the park. So positive outcomes there.
Thanks, Mark.
90.
36. Good mathematics, Emma. Page 10. I think some of them we're discussing. Now, we just got to go back to a communication 4.2 that has come in from the Ombudsman's letter, and Corey's going to put it up on the screen. I think it's just for noting. It's not for any action, but it's I don't even know what it is, but we'll find out. Yes, there it is. Oh, this is the one that came, yeah, it's very, very interesting right here. Okay, thank you. All right, so we go to recommendations from committee. We now go to the supplementary agenda. Page 3. For the Audit and Risk Committee meeting. There's a recommendation there that the reports of the minutes of the meeting of the Light Regional Council Audit and Risk Committee held on Tuesday the 17th be received. Would someone like to move that way? Lynette, Councillor Lynette, seconded. Seconded. Councillor Colin, all in favour? Carried, thank you. There's a second recommendation there.
Yeah, I'll do that one too.
No, well, while you do that, before we move it, Kyron's going to make a quick comment.
Thank you, Mayor Bill. Just thought I'd just provide a brief summary of what the Audit and Risk Committee discussed at the meeting, just very briefly on each of the topics. So with the terms of reference, there's some minor changes in there, but the main change recommended by the committee is to clarify the membership, which there was some ambiguity around, particularly the mayoral membership as an ex officio. So that's been corrected. The annual work program, they received an update there. So I guess the agenda points out each of the updates on those items.
So now you're just going to have 2 council members. Is that from what I read? So that's what we're voting on. If we accept this now, that's what we're accepting as what they accepted. So we accept it.
That's right. Yeah, it was actually incorrect the way it was structured.
Yeah.
So we're going back to the way it was accepted at that time.
So there was an update to the annual work program. The second budget review for 25-26, the committee acknowledged that the deficit position that is before the council is likely unavoidable. However, the committee was comfortable with the admin's mitigation actions that are put forward in that report. And on the final subject, which was the 26-27 annual business plan and budget framework. Probably the main highlight there is that they commended the administration on the guidelines document. They were pretty happy with that. As probably something that they suggested is best practice in local government. So that was good to see that we're on the right path with that framework. So I think that's a very brief update for the council.
Any questions, councillors? All right, Lynette has moved the recommendation. Would someone like to second that? Or Councillor Fabio, all in favour? It's carried. Thank you. We now return to the ordinary agenda, page 12. For the infrastructure and sustainability reports and the infrastructure environment monthly update. So quite a good report there. Shows what's been done. Any questions there? If not, there's a recommendation there that the council receives the infrastructure and sustainability reports and the contents therein be noted. Councillor Simon and Councillor Peter. All in favour? It's carried. Thank you. We then go to the strategy and economic development reports. Update for February 26. A very good report from Sky. Very detailed. Notes the Hewitt update, which has taken effect at the moment. There's a recommendation at the bottom. Any questions? There's a recommendation at the bottom now that council receives the strategy and economic development reports and the contents therein be noted. Someone like to move that way? Councillor Martin, seconded. Councillor Simon, all in favour? Thank you. Reports for information. Temporary road closure, Roseworthy Garden fence. Well, that's happened. Had 1,500 people at it, I think that's what they say. Yeah. Do you want to make any comments? Lisa's here somewhere. Do you want to make any comments, Lisa? No. Michael's the playground being used much? Is it? That's good. I was impressed to see that the tunnels are quite small, so that it's specifically designed so big kids can't take over. It's really well designed playground. I bet it is, yeah, bet it is. Yeah, even the flying fox is only for little kids too, because it's not big and you hit the ground if you're too heavy. No good for me. That's right. CEO's monthly report. Thanks, Mark. Dutton Park Lake treated water and midge management. This is Mark's speciality. Any comments there, Mark? Or we had a,
No, I spoke to, rephrase that. Terry has spoken to me on a number of occasions, and the standing issue here, of course, several nights a week I stay at the Kapunda Park, and a good one it is too, by the way. I think it's an excellently run park, and the facilities are great that I stay in. But the midges have been a problem. We've been addressing those continuously through, in particular, Govind's work, and some positive feedback there, at least from a reduction in the problem of midges, even though they haven't gone away entirely. But I know Terry had some issues with the report. I know he's emailed Mayor Bill, myself, and the ward councillors about some things he may not totally agree with. Nevertheless, we have been dealing effectively with that particular problem.
thanks, Mark. Any questions there? Illegal dumping. This is a pretty scary one, really, isn't it? It's well, yeah, but most of our rubbish is coming from Playford, so it's pretty horrendous, and poor old cat team can't cope. Then we need another cat team, I think, by the look of things, don't we, Mark? And they're just going back, and next day there's more there, and yeah, it's just a difficult program. There's
I just thank Megan and Govind for doing this report, and I think the photographs sort of speak for themselves, and as does the cost that's involved with this. As frustrating as it is, we need to address it as best we can, and partly that is through an education campaign which is due to kick off. Now you've received this report, we'll receive this report shortly tonight. We'll be pushing as hard as we can in the media. It's not going to resolve everything, of course. We know that people who want to illegally dump will continue to dump, but we need to take whatever action we possibly can to limit the amount of stuff. And that stuff is not just I think when people think about illegal dumping, they think about a bit of garden waste. This has gone way beyond that, and it's significant, and we need to take some as much action as we possibly can. And that media campaign will launch this week after this meeting. So not going to solve everything, but we've got to do something about it. And it's not just the cat team, of course. A lot of the stuff's just too big for the cat team to deal with. So then they have to call in additional support from our staff through trucks and loaders, and which takes them away from their normal duties. So it's exceptionally frustrating.
thanks, Mark. Yeah, Mark.
Is there much commercial waste? Because one of the things that was happening in the plains when I was dealing with this with some people from over there was that people were going to, taking tyres and saying they're going to dump them, and you're getting paid a fee to dump them, and then just off. So those people were repeat offenders, and cameras on the roads between Wakefield Road and the beach actually caught a number of them going down and up. And so those were the ones that we actually targeted and prosecuted. So it's if you get a regular spot or a regular road, then perhaps, and cameras was in the end the only answer. The signs worked a little bit, but the cameras, they know, and you can put fake ones up, a few, but you just want one or two good catches, and it's education and enforcement is, I believe, is the way to achieve any regulatory or legal compliance from experience.
Yeah, it's certainly, I mean, cameras would be advantageous. We have a big council area with lots of access points and lots of, nighttime but certainly the increase in tyres has been quite phenomenal. But, yeah. Yeah, the rubber rings, yeah. There hasn't been as much asbestos of late, I don't think, but the tiles have been just a growing problem, and furniture now seems to be a big one that's coming. That's right. Yeah, I mean, is there something we should be looking at promoting? Cheaper recycling or cheaper, more hard rubbish collections in not just in our area, but statewide, rather than whether we can have any political influence anyway, and just say that needs to be done. So, yeah, all elsewhere. Okay, there's a recommendation on page 32 that the reports for information be received and the contents therein be noted by council. Someone like to move that way? Councillor Allison, Councillor Martin, all in favour? Carried, thank you. 13.1. The draft Light Regional Council Disability Access and Inclusion Plan for 2025-29 summary of submissions received. It's a very good report. Lorinda's graced us with her presence and it's done a very good report there. Are there any questions? Oh, Lynette's moving it. Watch off the hook, Lorinda. Is there a seconder? Councillor Peter? All in favour? That's carried. Thank you. Now go down to 13.2 Mildred Street footpath improvements. It's another very good report from Jason. This footpath's been a bane in the foot of a lot of people for a while. Are there any questions to that report?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Thanks, Michael. This will give us the motion is to apply a sealed footpath utilising the funds. Is that right, Megan? Yep. Okay. Councillor, sorry, Mark.
You will see at item recommendation number 4, we've included the word draft 26-27. So it will come back to council again in the fullness of the totality of the 26-27 budget. But that's the traditional way of doing it, so it can be reconsidered alongside other items as well. Even though this one would appear to have been quite an important piece of infrastructure.
Thanks, Mark. Councillor Simon.
Just one question for clarification. We're getting a sealed footpath. Is it option 3 or option 4?
Through the chair, it's option 4.
Yeah, option 4. Yeah. Okay. All in understand? All in favour? Carried. Councillor Fabio. Thank you. All in favour. Thank you. We go to 13.3 policy review, public interest disclosure policy. Corey's done this. Apparently we're going to get a lot of these before the end of the year. So are there any questions of Corey? It's pretty straightforward. It's a recommendation there at the page. Anyone like to move that recommendation? Councillor Simon, seconded. Councillor Lynette, all in favour? It's carried, thank you. We go to 13.4, Stormwater Management Authority Board nomination. In previous times, Simon Sheriff was on the board for us. There's currently a vacancy, so it's been recommended that Megan fulfills the position, gives us a good input into the Storm Management Authority funding and knowledge of what's going on. That's right, Mark, isn't it?
Yes, correct. This is a nominee. It's not necessarily an automatic tick, of course. My view on these things is it's great to have somebody on these committees to work out exactly what the hell's going on, particularly when there's significant funding to be had through this agency. So I'd certainly welcome your endorsement.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Mark. There's a recommendation on page 47 that we nominate Megan. Someone, Councillor Simon, seconded by Councillor Annette. All in favour? It's carried. Thank you. Right, now we go to the supplementary agenda. The right one. That one. 13.5. The Draftlight Regional Council designated area car parking scheme and fund. I think you should speak on this, Colin. Yeah.
Do you want me to mention the ministers?
Yes, we've got some news.
Thank you, Mayor Bills, and through the chair. Yes, I just wanted to mention that in the time between the preparation of the agenda and your consideration of the item tonight, we have received the minister's response to council's initial letter. So members have seen that separately, but I just thought we'd table that at this point just for the consideration, given it does relate to the recommendation that was before council. Mayor Bill, I can go into further detail, but I think people are across the gist of the minister's letter in terms of it basically saying that with the election and the bill being suspended, you can council has the option of putting something before and working with this department pending the outcome of those matters.
Okay. And I think Craig feels it's better that we've got something in front of him, even if it's not going to happen. At least it's up there in front of the eyes of the minister. That's correct, Chris?
Yeah.
Any questions on that? Councillor Simon.
Just the one question I have is the actual monies, that $10,000 per car park. To me, that seems probably a bit high for certain places, especially, I mean, talking Freelink or Greenock or Kaponda. Is there a way that we can have that discretionary to council, or like have something a bit more flexible than just a flat $10,000 with CPI increase?
Through the chair, thank you. And yeah, that's a very pertinent question. Obviously, we've looked at the number that we've included in the draft guided by what's been produced by the Minister's Department to this point. In the report, we're suggesting that we look at what the options may be to discuss and negotiate that further with the Minister's Department. I've mentioned in there whether that might involve doing further analysis for our particular local circumstances and making a case, so to speak. Those sort of questions would have to go through that process, I think, in terms of what the minister's comfortable with, how that's informed and what level of evidence we might need to prepare and produce. Just deviating slightly from the question of whatever that number might look like, we've also looked at suggesting that we do a bit of work around car parking provision and what that looks like. And the reason for that is that planning code policy allows for the assessing officers to have regard to supply. So we could almost look at it from two angles concurrently. So we think there's some value in progressing that work in conjunction with looking at lodgement, if that's the will of council, to have a scheme and replacement fund.
That's great.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, it's been moved and second, I think, hasn't it? Councillor Colin, Councillor Michael? No?
Moved, I think. Second.
Yeah, so Michael second. All in favour? It's carried, thank you. There are no questions on notice. Any questions without notice?
Yeah, I've got it. Just wondering, about Ebenezer Road, when that's gonna be done. There's a bit of a window on how you want it a bit sunny, don't you, when you're laying bitumen?
Through the chair, we've actually been speaking with the contractor who is lining up to do the work, March, April.
Are we using the same contractor that's doing Bethel Road and College Road? Or are we using three separate?
No, it's a different contractor.
Okay, no further questions without notice? Okay, motions on notice. You have a motion from councillor Simon. Like to speak on this, councillor Simon?
Yeah, I might, real short one. I mean, I think everybody understands what this is all about by now, I suspect. And it's the exact same as last time, just part B. So I think everybody should understand what it is all about. And literally it is, we're having the council is funding a few planners to actually deal with this massive work to deal with this growth that we have. And this just claws a little bit, maybe one position, on full-time position back in payment for that massive effort that we do for planning. So I think it's just a fair thing to get some of that money back that we're spending on these people that we're planning for. So that's what this is about.
You're moving the motion?
I'm absolutely moving that motion, yes.
Thanks, councillor Simon. Just to point out, this is particularly for prime production properties, not rural living properties, prime production properties within the employment residential zone. So it is specifically aimed at that Roseworthy group. Yeah, but that's, so that really is what this whole thing's about. Councillor Collins seconded. Any further debate?
Well, and all we're doing is asking for a consultation paper. So we're not asking to implement anything. So we're just asking for and the same as last week, we're just, or last month. So that's all we're doing.
All right. Thanks, councillor Collins. No further comments? Put the motion. All in favour? It's carried unanimously. 16.2, Drovers Encounter. Deputy Mayor Michael, again, is acting for reports. So,
Yeah, look, I'd like to move that motion, Mayor Bill. Do I speak on it now? I don't intend to speak at length. I think, look, this has been around for too long. The last material progress on this was some time ago. There's been nothing further on it in that time, and meanwhile, the site sits there doing nothing, is quite aesthetically unappealing in its current state. I think, there's an opportunity for that land to be considered for some other community use or for sale or what have you, and perhaps, part of that would be community consultation. So I guess this motion, if it was to be carried, would be the start of that process.
thanks, councillor Michael. Does someone like to second the motion? Councillor Peter, would you like to speak on the motion, councillor?
The motion. I think the motion is very well composed and I support it as it stands.
Thank you, councillor Peter. Any further comments, councillor Simon?
Yeah, I mean, in general, I do support the idea of the motion. I'm a little bit worried about the scope of it because it seems like this could turn into like just lots of reporting about nothing. Like we unfortunately have these things happening before, but all sorts of projects that we get these beautiful big reports that then say we need to spend millions of dollars on something and then they never happen. And I'd love to see some options that we can do with this land. I think that's a good idea, but if it's just creating massive reports and beautiful pictures that nothing comes of it, I think that would be pretty sad. So if in some way could limit this to a certain way, like saying like a concise report or very quick and not going to planners and architects and drawing up
No,
beautiful
no,
pictures.
no, it's not.
Just a
not right.
very,
Yeah.
like, one-page report saying this and this and this is what we could be doing. Let's see if we want to move forward. That's my only concern, but other than that.
I think it's probably pretty important that the new CEO gets a chance to look at that too and get some ideas around that thing. So I don't, this won't be a concise report, it'll be an ideas report. That would be my feeling.
Yeah.
No. Yes.
Can I just respond to, so, yeah, so I share your concern, councillor Simon, with creating a whole lot of Billy busy work. But I sort of thought about it and I thought, well, how do we get action on this? Because like to do nothing means nothing will happen. So I thought, well, one way of getting something to happen is, and I agree with you, it's concise, it's tight. What can we do? What, the report might come back and say, why don't you go out for community consultation or something? I don't know. But certainly not envisaging, pages and diagrams and pictures and renders and things at all. No, I agree with you.
Thanks, councillor Michael. Councillor Ellison.
Is there nothing happening with Drovers Encounter? Like, have we not heard anything? I'm sort of directing that over there to you, Kyron, because we've heard nothing since they last come and spoke to us, 6 months ago or whenever it was? A year ago? That quick.
Yeah.
So, no, nothing. You've heard not a word.
There have been discussions with the group, and they're still, available and keen to do it. So
Right.
They haven't gone away. No, that's what they need. Yeah. Okay. Although we shouldn't have said that. That's confidential. Okay. Okay, all right. We'll put the motion. All in favour? Against? You've got to put your hand up. We can't sit there. Good, thank you. Unanimous. Thank you. The motions without notice? No. Okay, we now are going to go into confidence. So there's a motion there that we go into confidence to discuss the 14 Hanson Street. Thank you, councillor Mike. Seconded, councillor Ellison. All in favour? Okay. So we now go, and then we move back to our ordinary agenda. And do we vote? Yeah, all in favour? Carried. Thank you. Now, before we close, I think councillor Collins got a motion. Would like to move. Just turn your microphone on.
I just got something I knocked up a bit earlier. With the help of Corey, of course, which is it's just a motion formally thanking Mark for his work that he's done for the council. It's been in my opinion, it's been a great 5 months for the council. You've contributed very well and put up with my phone calls and
He's still here.
yeah. And listen to some of my strange ideas and politely told set me in the right way. But yeah, no, and we wish you all the best in your future endeavours and good luck with LG and your recruiting of CEOs.
Thank you, councillor Ross. Appreciate it.
Someone like to second that motion? Got to speak?
I do. Mark knows I appreciate all that he's done for the council and yeah, once again, taking my calls, coming out to have a look at areas that I had concerns with in the Muddlewera area. Yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, sad that you're going, but you were here for the short time and yeah, thank you. So I think a round of applause.
Oh, my God.
Certainly, yeah.
Thank you, councillors. I really do appreciate that. And look, it's been I look back and when I first arrived here, the crops were still growing. Back in September, they were green. So I've gone through that phase. I've gone through Christmas, New Year, various, well, the Australia Day, and of course the dryness that we've had over the past few months. So I hope to hell we get some rain this weekend. It'll be very nice. But I'd like to also, number one, thank you very much for your support as well, because this is not a one-man band. You know, this is the issue that I keep on stressing. It's a partnership. And I'd also like to acknowledge the support from Mayor Bill, who we've met on regular occasions with ministers and with a whole bunch of other people as well, and for his support, and also the support of, it's always dangerous identifying particular staff, but I will identify all the people in this room who are staff who have supported me in the governance side, and the general managers, and Lisa, who's I can't see you above the thing. You know, you are standing up. Oh, sorry. And the thank you, Lisa. And I think the great relationship we've had over the past 5 months, and will continue over the next 3.5 weeks or so. But without the general managers to support my role, you can't work. You know, we all know that it's a team effort. I know everybody says that's a team effort, but without it, it doesn't work. And I wish you all the best, sincerely. As I said to Bill, I almost feel like part of the furniture after almost 6 months, to be honest, which is a great feeling. And I'll be sad to go, but I know that Darryl will be a fantastic person to come in here. He's got a lot to pick up on, of course, as I did over those first few months. And we're doing, as I mentioned in my email or memo to you today, we're doing a handover on the 20th with copious notes, lots of information to pass over, and of course the introduction to relevant staff as well. They're here on that particular Friday, but they'll soon meet him. We'll do some scheduling for some induction the week following. So good luck to you. Good luck for some of those big ticket items you've got going. And I think importantly, the vision for the future is really the stuff you've got to keep on hanging on to, because that's a tough one. And I think all those growth councils share in that same level of pain and some apprehension. So good luck to you all and to the council as it continues to thrive. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Yeah, I think the big thing we've learned about Mark is we can trust him. You know, that's something we all need to be able to trust each other. And Mark's really the epitome of honesty and transparency, and we all feel relaxed in him. So thanks, Mark, for that. And I better move the motion officially. So all in favour? And now an acclamation of with a clapping. And I hope you can all join us very quickly for a presentation and some cake. We've got a special cake for Mark to cut. So after the meeting. Is that it, Corey? We all done? Okay. With that, I close the meeting. Thank you very much for your attendance.